So this is the quirky me. Always in the middle of the night thinking, creating, writing, pondering, thinking about various aspects of life. Quirky me, you know. Think different. Think different. I always have, even as a kid. Just think different. I was thinking about how as is. I've always believed in as is. And what does that mean? That means that I don't believe in judging others. You know what I mean? I think, I have been through so many realms of life to a point that I learned early on, I just felt strong early on, that no human being was above another, and therefore no human being could judge another, had that right, you know what I mean? And so does that mean we can't grow, we can't change, we can't elevate? No, it means we can do all those things. As a matter of fact, we're expected to, we should, but it's not no pressure. It's not something we have to do. Be ourselves as is, you know. And I feel the same way, when it come down to my woman. I want her to be herself as is. You don't have to put on, a bunch of makeup for me. You don't have to do anything to try to enhance yourself like women sometimes do to go out in public. Not for me. Not for me. Just be yourself. Be yourself. Come as is. And I'm going to love you as is. So, quirky way of thinking. Quirky way of thinking. And that's like, this is one of those nights I would love to just, I wish I was one of those that could just, 9 or 10 o'clock or whatever time, and off to bed, and you put your night clothes on and you go to sleep. And then I can wake up in the morning, I guess you have a cup of coffee, something like that. I used to have coffee back in the days. I'm looking forward to my next cup of coffee. It means something's representative to me. But the thing about it is that this is my quirky way of thinking, my quirky life, I'm always ambitious. I'm always, I want today to be better than, yesterday. And I want tomorrow to be better than today. I want to be, grow every day. I mean, every day. I don't want to be the same person I was the day before. I want to grow. I don't care if it's even in inches or if it's by a mile. I want to grow. And I want to be stronger, every day. Every day. And strength is not always in a physical realm, it's in how we think, how we feel, how we, our motivation levels, and just all around, it's just, but again, it could be in inches. It could be in inches, but I'll take that. I want to grow. I always want to grow. I always want to be, just rising and rising and rising because I love the clouds. I do. That's my home. You know what I mean? That's my home. And I've never been one to say, to be a star. I'm just one of those that in the middle of the night, in the nighttime, I'm up there with stars. All of those, the beautiful lights from stars. Just being near the moon, hanging out on the moon, catching a ride on the sun. That's me. That's definitely me. As is my quirky way of thinking. So, would I ever want to be Wish I could, do what they would call quote unquote normal, live that life. I think about it. I do think about it. And I leave myself open for the possibility. But I'm honest about the fact that, I am who I am. And I'm always going to be, ambitious. I'm always going to be motivated. I'm always going to be, just want to I don't know, it's this thing I came up with when I was a kid is be greater than dying's own self. And I don't know what made me write that. I don't know what made me that come to my mind. And it became my motto. Be greater than dying's own self. And it meant for me that no matter what I did, be greater than myself. It's not that I'm irrelevant, but things I do and the moves I make have to be bigger than me. Has to be bigger than me. And because you never know, something you do, something you say, some mark you make can change another's life, can change another's way of thinking in a way that might, help them get to another level. And that might not even be your intentions, but just being who you are, being your quirky self. And so it's just, I don't know how to be anyone else. And trust me, I've tried. I've tried. I have tried. I've tried. And I remember that, I was talking to this businessman. He was really, really known. He had really made a huge mark on not just his corner of the world, but his city. He really made a mark. And he and I were talking, and I was telling him that I come to realize, that every time, if you feel like, if you're just different and you feel like you're different and you know it, you'll know it, you'll always know it. But you try to do things that you consider normal because you just don't want to be like, everyone else. And you feel like, so you try to do normal things and, and you find yourself just miserable, totally miserable. Nothing's going right. And life just tanks. It really does, because anytime you're going against the grain of who you are, how good can it be? How well can it go? And it took time for me to realize that every time I did that, things was not going well for me. They were not going well for me. And I remember that, that was a scenario where it was like, okay, hey, you need to be known. Not because I was doing anything wrong, but because sometimes when you be different and you be yourself, it seems like, your life is different. It's different in certain realms. And, anyway, that's, I'm not even going to go down that story. I have my reasons for branching off that. The thing is that being different and being the quirky me is all I want to be. All I want to be. And trust me, it took a lot of my life to be able to say that. I didn't want to admit, I didn't want to admit that, I felt different. I didn't want to admit that I'll be up all night thinking, and working on projects and ideas and stuff. I didn't want to admit that, certain ways of my thinking in certain situations was different than, those that were around me. And as a kid, I used to really shy away from it. it bothered me. I was like, I wonder, you feel like you don't fit in nowhere. You feel like you don't fit in nowhere, which is why I've always been the type to kind of, stay away from society. And most of my life, I haven't lived among society a lot. I've always lived in, isolated situations and isolated places. And that probably will always be me, you know. It's my little peace, my little sanctuary. But it doesn't stop me from being sociable. It doesn't stop me from being able to communicate with my fellow, man and woman. It doesn't stop me from being able to, love, for sure, no doubt. And so, yeah, as is. And hopefully, anyone that deals with you, anyone that wants to be in your world will take you as is, you know? So, as is. My quirk